Gracias por escuchar y ver nuestro show renovandoriquezas.com. Búscanos y danos un like y 5 estrellas en YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn y cualquier otra red social en donde puedas encontrarnos.
No somos responsables si esto no te funciona. Lee siempre las letras pequeñas. No creas en nada de lo que decimos. Los resultados varían dependiendo de cuánto estudies y hagas tu diligencia. Esto es solo para los que toman acción y sirve de entretenimiento.
We are here live from Brookshire, Texas, with Mr. Dennis Rodriguez.
And Mr. Ricardo Rosales.
And tonight is going to be in English. How about that? Cash me outside. Oh, shit. That's pretty good, huh? How about that? Cash me outside. And about cashing, we're about to cash in some of our Bandit signs. What do you think?
What do I think?
You think we'll cash in on Bandit signs?
We better.
Especially on those big ones that we just got. The permanent ones.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, you know, that'd be funny, man, if we get a call like, "Sir, we got some of your signs on the street. Which one, the big one or the little ones?" Oh, well, the ones you put. Well, don't take down the big one. What do you think there, Dennis? Are you lost on your computer, watching Facebook or whatever?
I'm looking at the Renovando Riquezas website, and the camera, I don't know, we'll probably have to make some changes. Oh, no, this is old. Never mind.
No, it's not that it's old. It's just that it takes a little while for it to catch up.
No, but that was the May 25th program.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, Dennis is lost. So he's watching himself last week talking in Spanish, basically. We decided that today is going to be in English. So today is Renovating Riches, actually. It's not Renovando Riquezas. For those of you that speak English, Renovating Riches translates into Renovando Riquezas.
Yes, and I don't know, Ricardo decided to make it in English. We'll make it in English.
I didn't decide. I asked you. I said, hey, should we do it in English? We got an English audience.
It was a unanimous decision.
And we've been underserving our English-speaking audience lately. So why not do one in English, Dennis?
Here we are. It looks kind of white. Does it look the same way on your screen? I don't know.
Yeah. You know, like I said in prior shows, Dennis is always striving for excellence. So I think the positioning on the camera for Renovando Riquezas and, I don't know, the white background and whatever is going to bother the heck out of him for the next 45 minutes. So it's all good. We need to straighten up the backdrop. It's kind of lousy. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it now if you're looking at
No, we're not going to do it now. Hey, guys. Yes, sir. So, how was your week, Dennis?
My week went by really well, but today has been really, really stressful. It's one of those days. I need a beer so bad.
But you've had beers all these days.
I know, but today, being first of the month, let me tell people, today was strictly a realtor day for me. I did probably no real estate investing today. I put my realtor hat on today, and I had to hand the keys to 2 new tenants.
Yeah. Ooh.
So the only 2 houses that we had for rent have been rented officially.
That is correct.
We turned the keys turned the keys over to the tenants, and it was a little bit stressful because neither of the houses was completely 100% done. Like, I want, when people walk into the house, I like them to feel like the house is perfect. And these 2 houses were not perfect this morning. So
my bad.
So I had to run to Home Depot twice. I had to oh my God, just hanging in one of the houses with the guys, pushing them to finish and talking to the tenants and explaining, and it's all done. And then at the end of the day, I had to head out there really far. Where
Right.
where I was.
Yeah.
To another city to meet with another potential clients. Anyways, it's been a long day. That's why we're late.
But that's good. That's all money in the bank, man.
So yeah, how was your day, Ricardo? I know you were driving around.
I had literally 10 different phone calls that I couldn't get to, including like I don't know how many of yours.
And you had a closing today also.
I had a closing today. We closed on a new property in Galveston. We bought a little hood house in Galveston, which we're gonna get started to fix, and we're gonna fix, and I don't know if we're gonna flip it or rent it, but that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna have extensive work. I know that.
Tell the people what you're gonna do with the foundation, because it's crazy.
So my idea for the foundation is to actually raise this particular property 12 feet up in the air. Okay.
So it's not 12 inches.
It is not 12 inches.
You heard right. 12 feet.
I want to be able to park my truck underneath, pull in right under the house.
We'll have to take many pictures and post it on our website.
This Saturday we need to go do those videos that we talked about with the cameras and all of that, and I want to do it in that house because that house is in a particular bad shape. It's full of trash at the moment.
Good.
And although they said that those were their belongings, so they asked me for some time to move it all out.
Okay.
I don't know really how much time I gave them, to be honest with you. I don't remember. It might be maybe 2 weeks or so. But the foundation is in really bad shape, and this house is kind of like crooked. It's kind of like that Fields house we did.
Okay, a long time ago.
And so it's gonna be an interesting project. But I got the right man for the job. That's a good thing. So we're going to raise this property. Now he told me, he said, listen, Ricardo, you might not have to go that high. We're gonna go check with the city to see if you actually have to bring it up that high. We might have to bring it up only 4 feet. I said, well, maybe if you got it 4 feet up in the air, why not go to 12?
Yeah, make it parking.
He said, well, money, man. It's very expensive to do that. And I said, no, I get it. I understand. I don't want to overkill it either. But if the difference is like $2,000 or whatever, man,
it's gonna be more than that. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, I just go race it, and let's build a new foundation on it, and we can't gut this house because this house has got all wooden walls. So
what do you mean? I don't get it.
The walls are wood, like literally like wood.
Like plywood?
Like all wood, like strips of wood. So
the tiny
no,
strips?
the thick one. They're about this thick.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah. They're crazy.
Well, we definitely need to take videos and show our audience.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put drywall over the wood.
Okay.
Just for insulation purposes and noise cancellation,
aesthetics.
Yeah, it looks better with the drywall than it does with the wood. Although some people like the old looks from the wood.
Yeah, but that area, I mean, if it was like a historic district, I'll tell you, yeah, I mean, keep it original. But in that area, I think you can afford to cover it with drywall.
Yeah, we'll cover it up.
And then maybe in 50 years, someone will buy the house and take the drywall out and say, oh my God, look what they have behind the wall.
Look at this beautiful wood. Why did they hide it,
It must have been crazy to cover it.
So, anyways, you'll see a lot about this particular property. And I know we have been away from Facebook Lives for a while because the amount of work we got is just insane.
Yeah.
We are flipping a bunch of houses. There are a couple of houses that are falling behind on schedule. I know his house is. And I had to literally fire like half of our people and we're starting with new crews, and all those changes take a lot of. It takes a lot of energy, efforts. It takes time. You got to readjust to the new people that are coming on board. I had the pleasure of rehiring somebody else back that kind of like had on the penalty box for a little while, and now he's back on board. And so, anyways, we've been shoveling around, and this is what happens when you run a business and an operation. These things are not gonna go perfect and as planned, so you have to adjust as you go, and that's why we've been away from shooting videos and doing all these Facebook lives that we used to do. Is for the fact that we've been fighting fires and correcting issues for a little while. So, with that being said, we are proud that today our billboards went up.
Yes.
And they look badass. Like, I was like, man, that was a good job. Like, you did a great job designing those things, and your artists.
They look great, especially yellow. The yellow part, it's like, wow. I mean, you see it. The phone is there, and we're excited. You know, it's a milestone. It's a big step. And we just have to sit down and wait to see what the response is. But yeah, that was pretty exciting when we got the news that both billboards went up.
Yeah. So
now we need to go there and take pictures, Ricardo. Like, you know.
True. Just like we did with the Bandit sign. Hey, just so you know, we were hanging Bandit signs this weekend. Me and Dennis, like, we hired a couple of guys to go do it, and one of the guys was like, "Hey man, is this legal? You know, like, can I do this like at noon?" Or I was like, "Dude, you go hang Bandit signs at night, you know? Like, you don't want to be like sweating and, you know, being in front of everybody driving around you while you're sticking them up. Hey, go a little late, you know, it's cooler and it's easier. Nobody's paying attention to what you're doing." So Dennis and I just decided that, hey, why? It's a long weekend. Why not go hang Bandit signs on our own? And we did. So, and one of I guess the rationale that Dennis uses is, when I hire the next guy, I can show him the picture of me putting this Bandit sign up.
I've done it. Don't tell me it's hard. Don't tell me it's too difficult. We've done it.
You know what we gotta do? We gotta shoot a video of the correct procedure for
step one.
Step one: put the sign on the stapler. And step two: make sure the stapler's got staples.
That's very important.
Step three: wear jeans and proper foot.
Cover. You don't want to get stung by fire ants, and I mean, it's a jungle out there.
It is.
But we had fun. Sometimes I'm
gonna say hi to Fergie Archibald. He used to be my supervisor in Asia. So he's either in Asia or in Scotland somewhere. And he's wishing us the best, Dennis.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we got audience all over on the other side of the world. The power of Facebook.
That's awesome.
Go figure. And we had the pleasure. I had the pleasure of reporting to him when I was working in Indonesia. I think it was back in 2011 2011, 2010. A job I actually got run off from. So.
I hope it wasn't Fergie who.
No. He was actually there to support me all the time. He was cool with me because he's like, "Hey, Ricardo, don't pay attention to those guys. Just go to the resort and have a few beers, and enjoy it and relax." And I was like, I just wish my wife was over there with me during that time, because I spent a lot of time at the hotel by myself. But anyways, Fergie. So anyways, getting back on our billboards and our Bandit signs, Dennis became a master pro of putting up Bandit signs around Houston.
Yes.
Although he was a little surprised when he saw me in action. He's like, "Dude, you were born for this."
Yeah, I thought I was doing an excellent job, and then I start getting some calls, and I need to, stay in the car, and Ricardo went out and hang some signs, and I was like, wait a second, I'm going to be doing the driving from now on.
I got skills, but anyways, I was doing the driving because that's why I brought up the correct outfit. I was wearing like a Bermuda and
Flip-flops.
yeah. So I was like, hey, I can't get in there to put the signs up. So Dennis, I'll do all the driving. So right now we got a bunch of fishing lines. That's what we call a fishing pole. We got some fishing poles out there. Just waiting to catch up the occasional person that needs some cash fast in 30 days or less. And just so you know out there, all the people that are watching us that are in the real estate game and wholesaling and real estate investing, when we put Bandit signs, that is not the only method of marketing we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when we target an area with Bandit signs, we're usually doing Bandit signs, letters or postcards, now billboards, and
Driving for dollars.
but driving for dollars is not marketing. It's more like targeting a certain property.
I still consider some
I'm just
marketing strategy.
I'm just talking about the tools themselves. Because a lot of people just rely on Bandit signs. They say, "Oh, Bandit signs work fine for me." Well, what if you want and put Bandit signs and then you send letters on top of that? So now they see the sign, they see the letter, they can relate one thing to the other. So now we're basically blasting different areas with signs, letters, Facebook. What else? Google AdWords.
I'll say driving for dollars, but you don't want to consider it marketing.
I am going to take driving for dollars into consideration for.
Thank you.
Because Dennis is bringing it up. So
no, because I mean, you drive around and you write down the address, and then you come and you send a letter directly to that person, or you hang some piece of marketing on their door.
What we gotta do? We gotta do those hangers, door hangers.
Yeah.
I want to buy your house cash and hang it in there.
Yeah. Problem is that
you step into their yard and then the guy comes out with a shotgun.
Exactly.
What you doing on my land, son?
Texas is gonna be careful.
So it's been a very hectic week. For us, our week started actually on Monday because we didn't. Actually, our week started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we haven't taken
a day off. We've been working every day, but it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work to you.
Today it did.
Because he was doing realtor. You see, he's got the realtor's license, but he does not like being a realtor that much.
No.
Exactly. So today, for Dennis, it felt like he worked all day long, and now he's tired, and his energies are like, he's like, man, I want to go have a beer and relax. For me, I just drove around, looked at houses. I talked to a couple of new investors. Actually, one new investor.
New panchos.
Yeah, new panchos. And
you'll probably have to explain to the English-speaking audience what a pancho is.
A pancho is people that loan us money for buying rehabs.
We baptized all of them with pancho a few weeks ago during our Spanish podcast. We were doing some explanation on how it works when people lend us money. And instead of saying investor 1,000 times, we say, let's call him pancho. And
yeah, we don't want to call them investors or by their name, because then next thing you know, some of our friends that are looking for partners, they start, targeting our partners or whatnot. So our panchos, and so that's what we call them, pancho. So pancho is somebody that usually loans us money on houses so we can buy and flip and fix. Not only we wholesale, so wholesaling is a whole different game. We wholesale to other investors. And I was looking at the numbers. We're gonna do 208 deals roughly, and about 30% of those deals will stay with one of our companies.
Okay.
So, just so you can see that there are preachers out there that say, well, wholesaling is the best way to go, and then you got other preachers out there that say, well, buy, fix, and flip and sell is the best way to go. And then you got other preachers out there that say, well, rental properties are the best way to go.
You gotta keep them.
You gotta keep them all. And and then you got other preachers out there that say, you boys are wasting your time on single family units. You need to go multifamily.
Or nodes.
Oh, then you got the node guys. Oh man, flipping paper, that's even easier. You just wrap around the note and then you sell it and you can do this and you can do that. Fine. I guess you gotta be across the board if you want to be a full-time real estate investor, or at least on 50 to 60% of that process. And we do that here. Okay, I'm not gonna say either way is right or wrong.
We do them all.
We don't do them all because we don't do notes.
Yeah, we don't do notes.
We don't mess around with notes yet. Although we have a plan for that for 2018. But I mean, we can only grow so fast as we are scaling up. So we don't want to stretch ourselves too thin. We've been stretching ourselves very thin on the rehab side because we've been buying a lot of properties ourselves and fixing them up. And now we're scaling up the wholesaling business, which is more of a cash generating business than anything else, because it's quick transactions. You put the property under contract with a motivated seller, then you find a motivated buyer, and you turn it around in 15, 20, 30 days, and it's gone, and you make a profit. So that's a good way to create a cash machine. But so I guess what I was getting with it was that there's a lot of gurus out there, or self-proclaimed gurus, that say wholesaling is the best way, or rental properties are the way. Whatever way you choose, that's going to be your best way. If you like wholesaling, by all means, get into the wholesaling business. If you like being a realtor, clearly Dennis does not really love that part of it. That doesn't mean he doesn't like it. It's just that he'd rather be doing other things.
It feels more like work than the other things that we do.
Yeah. The other things are, I guess, wholesaling and flipping, it's kind of like more fun. Like you got challenges to overcome, which is, oh my God, the foundation, I gotta fix it, or the roof, or what, or the seller died the day before closing. I mean, some weird things happen in this world when you're doing it full time, because now you're doing multiple deals and you're doing a full blown, operation, and then you got all sorts of different situations that show up that you probably don't have to deal with if you're only maybe doing 1 or 2 deals a year.
Correct.
Which is what I did for a long time. I did just a couple of deals a year, and all my transactions were smooth. No big deal, no problems.
It was more a part-time thing, or
yeah, it was a part-time. It was just a way of being a passive investor, and then I realized I didn't want to work for anybody else, and I was a bad employee, and found myself without a job one day and said, why not take this thing to the next level?
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about real estate investing, what would your suggestion be, Dennis?
Starting?
Yeah, where would you start out?
Find someone that have done what you want to do and stick with them.
Yeah, mine will be find what you want to do first.
Yeah,
do you want to wholesale? Do you want to get into notes? Do you want to get into fix and flips, fix, flip, and rent?
And in order to know what area you kind of like want to follow, you have to do some
soul searching.
Yeah, you have to do some studying, I want to say.
Right.
But the important thing that I tell people is that at some point you need to take action. So if you keep studying and buying the new book, and you read it, and then you heard somewhere that there's a book that's fantastic, and you go and you buy that one, you can stay in that
you can
analysis paralysis like forever.
Oh, you can become the master student of real estate, and you can know it all in 10 years and never do a deal.
And it kind of happened to me, I when I met Ricardo, I kind of like knew everything, but when he asked me, how many deals have you done? I was like, no.
Well, I'm waiting for that deal in Katy, and I was like, really, dude? You're gonna be waiting for a long time if you continue to do that.
Yeah, so I learned, I'm really glad that I met Ricardo, and he kind of like took the or widen my view about real estate investing.
I tell them, look, find them far away, ugly, distress, and you're gonna make a ton of money. And that's exactly what he did.
So yeah, find the area where you want to specialize, learn as much as you can, but at some point take action or find someone that's doing it and
I would just take action
shadow
while I learn. When I first started, my case was I wanted to do it. Like, I was ready. I had the money. I was, financially prepared for it, mentally prepared for it. But back then, there were no mentors. Like, literally, people did not want to teach anybody. Because I guess they were afraid of, I don't know, creating competition or, having somebody follow them around or whatever. And I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to see it. Would I have paid if back then, if I would have met one of these guys that's done it over and over again, I don't think I would have mind paying them to show me the way. Because I'm an action taker anyways. So if I took action without knowing the ins and outs and without having a mentor or somebody train me and teach me the way or lead me the way, I literally took action and I made a bunch of mistakes. I know every way you can possibly know how to lose money in this business. So there's some people out there that say, "Oh, we'll teach you how we lose money on business." I say, well, I know that.
Yeah.
And a lot more. But so I took that action and I did it wrong because I didn't know better. I didn't know what was right or wrong. Yeah, I think if I would have had one of those gurus come to me and said, "Hey, man, I'm going to teach you and I'm going to give you my system and I'm going to check up on you from time to time and we're going to meet, maybe a couple of times a week or whatever to check up on your projects. My fee is 10 grand, 20 grand. I would have wrote the check. Boom, no problems. Because he would have saved me a lot of money on deals that went wrong.
Yeah, I guess the thing is like, okay, how do you know that person is, it's legit and it's gonna follow up?
Oh, there's a bunch of guys that are legit. So okay, so if you're out there looking, and that's a great point that you're bringing up, Dennis. If you want to find a mentor in your city, in real estate,
how do you do that?
Well, number one, go to the local real estate meetups.
Yeah.
Or the local real estate networks events. You can also Google hard money lenders, Memphis, Tennessee, for instance, or what if you're in Tennessee or whatever, or Atlanta, Georgia, or Miami, Florida. Most likely, these hard money lenders are going to have some meetup groups. They're going to have some networking events going on. And they're going to have them posted on their Facebook page or they're going to have post them. I know here in Houston, all these guys that are in the Houston area, every week, there's more events going on in Houston.
There's more events than days in the week.
Yeah, there are days in the week. Actually, sometimes, and I think the last time we attended one, which was actually it was an event put together by the Harmony Lenders. Was it Noble Mortgage?
Yes, I believe so.
Noble Mortgage, I think it was. Man, there was at least 400 or 500 people there.
It was packed.
It was jam packed. I know Jet Landing is doing quite a few at the Cowboy Country Club or whatever. I've never been to one, but I've been told that it's pretty well attended. And so if you're a newbie, you want to get into a real estate deal, you want to learn how to wholesale, or you want to learn how to access funds for your flip, find one of those events, And
yeah, but once you get to that event, the scammers are there too.
It's easy, man. Look at the guys on stage. The guys on stage are the guys that usually are doing deals.
Yeah, but they're not the ones that are going to mentor you and follow you like every day or twice a week. And
hold on.
Those suckers are
some
busy.
of those guys got programs. I just learned of a guy here in Houston that's got a mentorship program where he charges, I think it's $8,000 a month. Okay, a month.
Wow.
For a mentorship program, where he coaches them into like going through the process. Now I don't know if he's legit or not. I know he's the real deal though. I know he flips a lot of houses. I know he's done hundreds of deals. I know he's a full-time real estate investor. So if you want to do your due diligence, you say, all right, man, if I want to trust you with my $8,000 a month, can you take me around and show me some of your deals? Mm-hmm. And then, as you go around and you see that the guy is actually flipping houses and having contractors or whatever, commit to his program. By any means, I'm endorsing anybody here. I don't know if what they teach is right or wrong, but you got to take a leap of faith at some point on somebody and kind of make your own judgment and say, okay, I'm going to have this guy. I'm going to have Mr. Dennis Rodriguez, which, by the way, we don't do that. We've pretty much, if you want to do business with us, come hang around with us one day. We'll show you what we got going on. If you think it's worth it, fine. If you don't think it's worth it, okay. We just spent the day together. That's it. Mm-hmm. But we don't have a structured mentorship program for newbies or whatever because we're not looking to monetize, I guess, classes or things of that nature because what we want to do is we want to partner with people and go do deals together. And I guess we both of us monetize that way. But in those areas, you're going to have some guys that are the real deal. And they're usually very well connected with the harmony lenders, with the title companies, and you can go and ask around. If you meet Dennis and you say, hey, is Dennis for real? Well, I don't know. Let's find out. And you go to the title company that Dennis mentions he closes deals all the time with. Mm-hmm. And you go to that title company and you say, hey, is Mr. Dennis Rodriguez closing deals here? Absolutely. He's closing deals every month. And, that guy's buying a lot of houses and whatever. Oh, okay. So he's really up to, to the expectations, mm-hmm. I guess. So that's how I would find my mentor.
Yes, just do your due diligence and find out if the person...
And also... there are other groups that got these classes and these weekend masterminds and get-togethers. The worst that can happen in those is you got to meet a bunch of new people and you grab some ideas to go do your own thing. Mm-hmm. So don't do what I did, which is not knowing what how to invest in real estate and went and got myself crushed. For a little while, I was actually out of the game completely because it was a setback for me. Today, there's plenty of people out there that are charging a fee to do that because they find out that there's so many people that want to do this. They make more money teaching people than they actually go do on their deals.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's more exciting about the deal. I guess the only people I've taught what I know, and I wasn't even teaching because I was not on a board in a classroom writing anything down. It's probably been you and Jose and all these other guys that are around. But other than that, we're just basically in the business of taking action.
And talking about taking action, this is the second program we do in English. The other one was with Alex.
Yeah.
And we have not gotten into the details of how you take action. What do we do? So I don't know if we want to do like a quick overview of what we do. Like you mentioned already that we market, we do wholesales. We do wholesaling. You have your company that does the flips. We rent most of the houses, but for people that are just joining and don't know what we do because they don't speak Spanish, they don't see our other programs, maybe we can just do a quick overview of what do you do. I mean, in terms of business, how many deals are you doing, where do you find deals, and we can do a quick overview.
Well, I would say a quick overview would be, hi, my name is Ricardo Rosales. Nah, I'm just kidding. So in a nutshell, what we do is we find motivated sellers. For the most part, we buy those properties. Mm-hmm. And then we either assign them to a new buyer or we keep them, we fix them, and then we either rent them or sell them. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of like the process of what we do in a nutshell. I would say that 90% of the properties we keep them
Yeah.
that we buy. Okay, not that we get under contract. So we get some properties under contract, and we just either assign them or do a double closing or whatever to another investor. So that's called wholesaling. We just become basically a funnel for properties for other people like ourselves, and they might be more of, I just want to fix houses and flip them. I just want to have some rental properties, but they not necessarily want to invest the money on marketing, the efforts on negotiating the deal, estimating the rehab to begin with. And when they get one of our properties, they get a rundown on what needs to happen to the property.
Yeah.
At least from our point of view. That doesn't mean.
Yeah, we provide some information as how the deal can be put together and why is it a good deal.
So we'll give you an example of a property we just wholesaled. Which one can we talk about? We can probably talk about the property in Mossy, that Mossy house.
Yeah. Okay.
So that property we found through a mailing campaign. We send letters, and we basically tell people, I want to buy your house cash in 30 days or less, and give me a call so I can go and visit the property and make you a cash offer.
Correct.
And by the way, our cash offers are made on the spot. Like, we make them right there on the spot. We don't go back home to plug it in on a spreadsheet or to analyze the neighborhood. We do all of that prior to.
Yeah, and that was a question that was asked by someone on our last program, to describe the process, as we walk into the property. What do we know ahead of time? How can we make an offer without getting a contractor to come and see the house, getting an inspector to inspect the whole house, give us a report? We don't have the luxury of time to do that.
Right.
Because this is a very competitive market.
We got a lot of competitors and a lot of good negotiators out there. Alex is one of them. I'm going to mention his name. He's a great negotiator. He's got a great operation going. And if I show up and he shows up, I'd rather show up before he does, because most likely I'm going to have that property under contract by the time he gets there. And if he realizes he's under contract, then he'll kind of walk away. I will do the same thing. But if nobody's got it under contract, man, then that becomes a bidding war, and it becomes, I'm going to give you this much money up front, and so there's a bunch of tricks on the hat that wholesalers do to put these properties under contract fast.
Yeah.
So we don't have luxury, like Dennis said, of saying, oh, let me send my contractors here to do it. No, we got to be trained to do that.
And that might not be the same scenario in every city across the nation, but at least this market that we're playing in, Houston market, is very competitive. So when we go to see a house, first we already did our homework. We already know what the house is worth fixed up. We already know have a very good idea of the area. So there's a lot of information that you need to put together before you even walk into the house. Then once you walk in the house,
you're gonna do a CMA, for instance, a comparable
Yes.
market analysis. If you don't have access to the MLS, get with a realtor, get them to do a comparables on that particular property that you got a lead on. So let's rewind back.
Yeah.
How do we get the leads? Well, we either send a yellow letter, like we were talking about. We send a postcard. We get it through one of our Bandit signs.
A word of mouth.
We get it through word of mouth. We're getting a lot of those lately because some of the sellers we've helped have been happy with the process, and they're just telling others to kind of like come to us and sell us their property.
Yeah.
We get billboards. Now we got billboards. We get through Facebook and Google.
Google AdWords.
So we got different channels of marketing that we're using in order to attract motivated sellers. Once we attract a motivated seller, then we talk to them on the phone and we do a pre-screening.
Correct.
We basically ask them a few questions about the property, about themselves, why are they selling, what their expectations are, if they got any known issues on the properties, the whole 9 yards. And after we go through the pre-screening, we might not, or we might disqualify this property from qualified or disqualified from, listen, we take it to the next step, which is let's go look at it and make you an offer. Or you know what, this property doesn't really fit our model, and we're just gonna pass on to the next one. Thank you so much for the call.
Yeah.
So, but once we determine, okay, this is a good property, we want to go look at it, and we can talk about determining the property later on a different show, because that's a whole different subject. We get there as soon as we can. So we ask the seller or the potential seller, when can we see it? And if they say today at 6 p.m. and we're talking on the phone at 3 p.m., we're going to do anything we can to get there on their time. That way we can at least see it and make a judgment on it and put an offer on it before anyone else gets there. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we showed up at one of the properties, and this is so important on showing up on the scene. We've had people tell us, "Oh, we put these properties under contracts on the phone without even seeing them." Great, good for you. But last week we beat somebody because they made an offer by text message, and I got to see the text and everything. But guess what? Guess who's got the contract?
We do.
Because we showed up and we looked at it. We
built rapport.
We built rapport with the seller. We understood his problems. We walked around. We worked around on how we can help him transition from where he is right now to where he wants to go. He was a little skeptical on signing paperwork and all of those things, so we had to go find help. We actually took this person from their property to our title company and filled out the paperwork right there at the title company with our escrow agent, and they were happy and they felt relieved. They say, "Man, you guys are actually, we believe you're legit now because we're here and we got people telling us that you guys are the real deal or whatnot." I'm not saying that the other person that was putting an offer was was a fake. No. But we beat them because we were there.
Yeah, I guess you gotta choose how you want to do this, right? If you're gonna take or make all your offers on the phone, you probably have to market way more to get more calls, because you're gonna be rejecting or not rejecting. You're gonna be missing a lot of deals because over the phone, I guess your negotiating ratio, or not ratio, but
percentage over
the percentage of closings are going to be way less if you dedicate yourself to negotiate over the phone only. Whereas if you go and visit the property, your chances of putting it under contract are much higher. Now, it takes a lot more time, granted.
Yes.
So it's either do more marketing to get more calls to close a few deals, or maybe do a little bit less marketing but take the time to go visit the person, build that rapport, and get them to sign the contract. So, I mean, it's depending what you want to do. We like visiting people. We like helping them.
I want to be, if I'm the negotiator, I want to be in front of that person.
Yes.
I want to see how they behave, their body language, if they curse or not. I want to do a full-blown reading on their situation. I want to know if they feel good or bad, if they're sick or not. I want to know if they're employed, if they're unemployed. I want to know everything I can in order for me
see how they're living. See what conditions are they living in.
Well, but for most part, a lot of the people we've helped in the past, they don't live in great conditions to our standards, but to their standards, they're okay.
Yeah, no, but you gotta know or at least looking at how they live, what type of help they might be needing.
You can tell how stressed they are
Exactly.
by looking at the environment. So, anyways, that's part of the process. So, we choose to go there. Not all of us go there at the same time. Sometimes it's one of us. Sometimes it's two of us. It all depends on our schedule. Sometimes it's our other superstar, Jose. We've had the Brazilians, the NFRB crew, going in quite a few of the meetings and the offers, and we've literally have a closing ratio of about 70%. Seven houses out of 10 that we visit, we put them under contract, which is quite high. I was reading a podcast listening to a podcast by another wholesaler, and I don't know, but they out of 6 properties they visit, they only put 1 under contract. And I was thinking, like, man,
that's low.
That's
on compared to what we do.
Yeah, compared to what we do, that's kind of weird. Those numbers are, but then when I'm looking at, okay, these guys are doing 20 visits a week, then I get it. Some of those properties might not fit on their screening process or whatnot. So we've gotten very good at our ratios, I would say, on how many we put on the contract versus how many we visit. So once we go to the property and we determine the state of the property, the state of the seller, we make an offer.
But how do you determine what it needs? I mean,
visually,
dollar-wise.
Yeah, visually you're going to see repairs. That's the first thing. Okay, this property needs $40,000 worth of repairs. And that comes from experience. It's not some magic trick or formula that I got on some iPad, which I've seen people, they have a guideline and they just go click on the boxes or whatever. I'm more spontaneous because I guess I've been doing it a little longer, and I just scan around and I can see what's going on, and I say, okay, plumbing is $5,000, bringing electrical up to code on this particular property is about $3,500, or rewiring the property is $8,000, and the roof is this much, and blah blah blah. So I start summarizing. Sometimes I take notes and I add it all up, and I said, okay, based on the conditions of this property, my offer is going to be X.
Okay, but if you don't have that experience, if there's a newbie listening, how do you go about putting together a number?
Well, the easiest thing is to find a mentor.
Okay.
That's gonna teach you how to price the rehab. Whether a roof needs to be changed out or not, whether you need to replace the galvanized piping or not, whether you need to do the upgrades on the electrical or not, and whatnot. Just as a tip to everybody watching right now, the way we do our rehabs is, for the most part, we price the mechanical first, which is foundation, roof, AC, electricity, plumbing. And then we talk about, okay, tile, laminate flooring, windows, or whatnot. Because the mechanical was going to give us peace of mind that this property is safe and sound. So basically, we worry more about the structure of the property itself than how it looks. Or not worry, I guess I'm not worrying. I'm just taking in consideration those first before the other one.
And normally those are the big ticket items anyway.
Yeah, those are the big ticket items.
So that's what's gonna break or make a deal. So yeah, tile. Whether you go with a certain ceramic tile or you decide to go with the
cheapest one,
a more expensive one. On a $2,000 house, that might mean a difference of $500, $800. So that's not gonna break the deal. What breaks the deal is that, okay, the AC. Do I need to replace the whole thing, or is it good?
Can I fix it?
Yeah. So yeah.
So once we price it and we budget for it, we said, okay, this property needs $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 rehab.
Then you start negotiating right there with the seller.
I want to know exactly how much they owe as well, or if the property is free and clear. And I want to know as much information as I can about the property and the seller.
Mm-hmm.
If they're broke, if they're well off, whatever.
If they're behind on payments.
If they're behind on payments or not, because that determines the level of motivation. We've had people that literally told us, take it off my hands.
Yep.
Which is just, I just don't want anything to do with it. I had one guy tell me, I don't want to make any money off of it. And I looked at him, I said, what? Yeah, I want no money. I don't want anything to do with this property. I said, okay. We still put a few $1,000 in his pockets because I just didn't feel right.
It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. You'll come across that type of scenario.
And that basically what they're doing is they're attaching money and value to their feelings, which is, I hate this place, I want to get out of here. Mm-hmm. So they don't care, that they're not going to collect anything as long as they don't have that problem anymore.
Correct.
We've also taken properties away from people that they told us, just take it off my hands, I want nothing to do with it. And we, for the most part, we try to put something on their pockets because it's kind of like, putting money on an ATM machine. You help somebody move out, they told you not to put any money, you go put an extra couple of $1,000s on their pockets, next thing you know, they're telling somebody else. And
yeah.
So it kind of like, it's that...
it's like paid forward.
That law of attraction, sort of, you go put money in the bank before you draw it out of the ATM. That's the way we see it, at least. And that's why, in Same as Cash, we're so well in tune in what we do in between Dennis, Jose, and myself. We're all believers in the law of abundance and the law of attraction, and we want to help the people transition from their properties as smooth as possible, and we want them to be happy, and we want to be happy. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. Not always is the same case. You get the ones that want a lot more money, and then you're like, listen, but your house needs foundation repairs, it needs this, and I can't offer you what you're asking. You're way far. Your expectations are too high. Oh, the Lord told me then I should not sell for less than that. I'll say, all right, man, let the Lord help you fix the house then, because I'm not going to buy it.
And that's something very important that you just said. Not the Lord thing, which it's very important, but the part that you said, and you walk out of the deal.
Oh, yeah, I walked out.
In this business, you have to be mentally prepared to walk out of deals. You're not going to buy everything.
I remember one time I went with our other business partner to negotiate a house, and we put an offer, and the person got offended by it because they thought their little bungalow was worth millions of dollars, and they had the best property in Houston. And I said, listen, I'm sorry, but this thing needs a lot of repairs, and you got all sorts of issues that we got to work around. But we were not that far from their number. In that particular property, we were maybe $10,000 away. So I said, okay, listen, sleep on it. I'm leaving right now. I got another appointment I got to attend. And the other guy was like, man, but he wanted to stretch it. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, don't do it. So we left. And he's like, but Ricardo, we could have gotten it on the contract. The next extra $10,000. Who cares? I was like, it's not gonna work out for us, man. If we go and buy it for that price, and we pay that extra $10,000 more, we're very, very tight on that budget now. Mm-hmm. Getting into the project. What if anything goes wrong with the project?
It's doomed. That's
yeah.
it.
So you don't even have room for error or nothing, and I don't want to be working that way. Now, if I didn't have any properties on my hands, and that was like the last property in the world that day that I had to go find something to close on it, yeah, absolutely, we would have bite the bullet and go for it. But he was still in his mind trying to make the deal work, and I said, just forget it. Forget the deal. That deal never happened. We'll just put it on our stats as we went there, we wasted our time, and we just walked away, and that's it. And he struggled for maybe a day or two.
Still thinking about the property.
Still thinking about it because he knew he could have had it, right? Mm-hmm. And then a couple of days later, he comes back and said, you know what, man, I've been thinking about what we just did. And, yeah, you're right. We got to walk away from deals that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And
that's very hard for some people, especially if you're in your, first marketing campaign and you put all the effort or the money into whatever you're doing, bandit signs or letters or postcards, you walk into your first few deals and you are starving. You are like, your mind is going like 100 miles an hour because you want to close. You want to like start reaping the benefits of everything that you have done, all the work that you have put down. But
all the
still,
studying, the books that you
yeah,
read,
you're
seminars you attended.
You won that house. You won it, but that's part of the whole psychology of what we do. You gotta be prepared. You gotta be emotionally, prepared and conscious that you're not gonna close on every deal. That the numbers have to make sense in order to put a house under contract, and just accept it that you're gonna walk out of deals even if there was a, like you said, a $10,000 or $5,000 difference between your offer and what the seller wanted. So, once we agree on a price, we put it on the contract, right? Right there at the spot.
So we sit down. I got contracts on my car.
Yeah.
Copies. I got like 10 copies of it on my pre-filled with our company name and everything that we can possibly put on those contracts. The less we do while we're filling out these contracts, the better. Because that way the seller doesn't have time to back away or whatever. Once they sign that contract, I'm dropping it off at the title company on my way home. We've gotten to the point to where we're like, all right, man, let's take it to the title company right now. I want to open title on this thing as soon as possible. That's one day less we gotta worry about it.
Even during weekends when they're not open, we find a way to put the contract,
shovel the contract under the door or whatever, and
sometimes they call us Monday mornings laughing, like, you guys.
Your contract was on the floor and the check was like, we couldn't find it or whatever. I was like, yeah, thank you so much. There's 2 more properties for you right there. Go ahead and open title as soon as you can.
Must be good, right?
Yeah, so once we put them on the contract, we right away take them to the title company. We use title companies. In some other states, they use lawyers.
Yep.
To do the title search and title commitment and all the different docs and documents that they gotta put together. If you're having financing in place, then the notes and warranty deed with vendor's lien or whatever it is required by your lender, they're going to put that together for you and send it to your lender for approval. So there's a lot of work that has to happen, and we got to follow up. So we've gotten good lately at staying on top of our title companies because, when we were started, we would take the contract and, okay, open title, whatever. And then 2 weeks into it, we're like, hey, man, what happened with that property? Do we have title coming back yet? Or
yeah, I guess that's the difference. Now that I'm full time, I'm able to keep up with everything. Whereas, and this is something that if you are full time, you have a full time job, and you decide to start doing this part time, that might be one area where you're gonna struggle a little bit because you're handling too many things at the same time, right? Your job plus this thing, and then things just slip through your fingers, and you might miss a date or something, or calling the title company to find out. And some of these title companies, even though they're very good at what they do, they're so busy that if you don't follow up with them,
they forget about you.
They kind of they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to call the surveyor, or I forgot to call the attorney so they can prepare the documents. And you just gotta keep in touch and make sure that everything's moving forward, and they keep you updated on how the process is going.
So once title is open, then we go find a cash buyer.
Mm-hmm.
While they clear title and get the commitment back and all that. Because depending on the cash buyer, if they're using a private lending or Harmony lending or their own cash or whatever, now they want to go do their own due diligence, which is look at the property, look at the numbers. This is if we're going to wholesale it, okay? And while the title commitment and all the paperwork is being prepared and cleared, or if they find any issues, then we work around the issues in order to clear those up. Some of those properties are incurable. we found out the hard way that it doesn't matter how bad we want it or we want to wholesale it, it's not going to happen.
And that's, again, going back to the mentality of, you're not going to close on every deal. That's even harder because you negotiated the house, you were able to agree or on a price with the seller, and you feel like a rock star. Oh, I kill it, I got it under contract, and you walk out of that property all proud with your contract signed. But in real estate, I learned this very, very, very early in my career, and I keep it as a mantra. In real estate, it's not closed until it's closed.
Until it's funded.
Exactly, until it's closed.
And closed.
So even if you have a signed contract, if the title company comes back and says, "Hey, we got a problem," and normally when they say that, it's a very serious problem because minor problems, they're easy to fix. They
cure them.
They just call you and say, "Hey, we got a hiccup, but we're gonna cure it. We're gonna do this and that," and talk to the lawyer, and don't worry about it. When they come and say, "We got a problem," normally it's something that you're not gonna be able to cure, or it's gonna take a lot of money and time to do it, and you might lose a deal. Even if you have a signed contract, you might have to back out and say, "You know what?
At that time, that property is not a deal anymore."
Exactly.
So you're not really losing a deal. You're just you never had a deal in your hands. You thought you did, but you never. So once we get that title cleared and we've contacted the possible buyers or the buyer, in our case, we pick up the phone and we pretty much sell the property to one of our close investors because we got a few. So we don't market too many on the internet or to the whole Houston list, and we are building our cash buyers database and all of those things, but we do have a select group of people that we call and we say, "Hey guys, we got this property right now. It's a 70% all in," which, by the way, keep an eye on that domain because it's gonna come out pretty soon. 70%allin.com, and that's where you're gonna be able to buy your investment properties from, at least from Same as Cash. And once we do that, then the new buyer goes in, looks at the property, tries to make an offer. We don't accept it. We tell them this is what we're getting, and that's it. I mean, we're giving you a good deal from the get-go, and then they close on it. So when they close and the seller closes, we make a commission or we make a fee.
Yeah.
We literally swap the contract from one hand to the other one. We make an assignment fee or we double close on it and we get paid. So that's one of the things that we're doing better now is enforcing the calendar to get paid quicker. And that's what Dennis is talking about, following up and all of that. If we buy it and flip it, then, which by the way, Same as Cash does not buy any houses or keep any properties under rental or whatever. We do that somewhere else. We later on assign the property to one of our companies, either myself or Dennis or whoever, and that's where we buy it, rehab it, and then we list it for their sale or rent. And that's sort of the cycle, And once we disposition this property on the other end, then if we did it with a private loan and we kept it, then we go ahead and refinance the loan with a bank or a private institution that will do these 30-year mortgages or whatnot. If we sold the property, then we collected our check, moved on to the profits, and went to the next one. So
so that's a life cycle pretty much.
That is a life cycle of what we do in a nutshell. Maybe in a different program we can talk about it more in depth on the flip
just get
chart.
into details. Yeah.
So that's what we do. We buy, fix or wholesale and flip and fix, rent them or sell them over and over again.
And repeat.
This year we will probably have around 40 properties with We Flip It For You by the end of the year, which will probably hit our goal. We're close. We're We're watching that closely. And in same as cash, with the amount of marketing that we're putting now, and also the new hires we're getting on board on our team, we're expecting to increase our numbers drastically on the properties that we will be assigning to other people. Because, you know, for the most part, I like to keep most of it, but I can only rehab so many. So with that being said, that's what we do on a nutshell.
That was a very big nutshell.
Yeah. Any questions you may have, feel free to call us. Send us a message on Renovando Riquezas in Facebook. Look us up.
Yeah, or same as cash. We got the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. So,
and this program was sponsored by Same as Cash.
like every other program. No,
832-535-CASH. How do you like that, Dennis?
I love it.
So, anyways, I think we're getting at the end of the program. We've been on the air for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Dennis is thirsty for beer.
I need something, yeah.
And I'm...
it's been a long
for
long
me, it's
day.
a little late to go see my son now. He's already in bed. I wanted to play with him today, but here it is. It's 9:30 in the evening, and I'm still in the office. So...
It ain't easy for those people that think that this is...
Oh, I love... Hold on. No, but I don't... This doesn't even feel like work.
We're just hanging out.
Do you feel like you're working? No. We're just giving information. I'm going to say hi to Tony. Tony's from Katy. He's always out there watching us. I'm going to say hi to Jonathan Wilder. Oh, my Lord. I haven't seen this guy in ages. And he mentions Gadget MD Cell Phone and Tablet Repair, Magnolia, Texas. Hi, Jonathan. He's an old friend from my past days as an oil field hand.
He should contact us for advertising.
Little advertisement money, Jonathan. Send it our way. We'll put up your logo and all of that and talk about what you do and help you grow your business. So, anyways, guys, Thursday, 9:30 in the evening, actually 9:26. Dennis is thirsty, and we are going to say goodbye for the night.
Yep. And next week we should have another program. Thursday nights, I want to say 7 o'clock, but, you know. Just
Yeah, we had an abnormal day today.
very abnormal.
On both of our cases, and that's why we had to log on a little late. But, hey, here we are. And find Same as Cash on YouTube. Hit like. Watch some of the videos.
Subscribe on YouTube.
I promise I will wear jeans on the next ones.
On the next one.
Because I got Bermudas on all of those videos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Somebody's like, hey, nice legs, dude. I was like, really, dude? No, come on, man. Now I'm going to wear jeans now.
They're just jealous because they probably have to go to work in,
Slacks. The Dockers.
A long shirt, a long sleeve shirt, and the tie. And
Clock in and out,
yeah.
Yeah, not me. So,
I was wearing shorts today.
yeah, you're like, that's almost flip-flops, dude. Anyways, you guys have a good night. Take care. Good evening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Gracias por escuchar y ver nuestro show renovandoriquezas.com. Búscanos y danos un like y 5 estrellas en YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn y cualquier otra red social en donde puedas encontrarnos.